Hello and welcome to Out Motorsports. My name is Tyler and today we're in the 2020 Jaguar I-Pace. I am in Philadelphia, I am on Kelly Drive right along Boathouse Row, and I think this is the perfect city car, but it also has a lot of really good driving dynamics, so we'll get to that next. This I-Pace is Jaguar's full electric offering. It has 394 horsepower, 515 foot-pounds of torque. It weighs 4,800 pounds, and it gets 234 miles of EV range when fully charged. I haven't been able to get quite that because I've been driving it with quite a lead foot, but that brings me to that power and that torque. When you first get in this car, that is the first thing you realize. You immediately realize that this electric drivetrain is, number one, completely silent, completely smooth. Everybody knows that, but if you've not spent time in an EV before, it's immediately apparent, a completely different experience. Also, the torque that you get, that like 515 foot-pounds of torque, is pretty damn instant. Obviously, you can't just give the drivetrain of something that type of torque instantly. I'm sure they have some type of system designed to feed it in, but it throws you back in the seat.
There's going to be a cop behind you.
Nope, I already looked.
Okay, stop! Stop!
Crazy, right? It just grips and goes. In the wet, there's nothing else like it. The second thing you notice about this car is the steering feel and responsiveness of it. It's, like I said, it's not a light car, but this steering and the responsiveness of the chassis, like throwing this through the on-ramp, it's very car-like. You drive this thing in up to like 7/10 and you think that this is a car. And it has some party tricks to work itself around that. So you have some different height modes. You have a mode that makes it super low for people to either get in it when you're stopped, or when you're on the highway, you can press that and it lowers the car even more to create less aerodynamic drag and get better fuel efficiency. You also have what's essentially the like SUV mode or 4x4 mode that raises this car a pretty good amount, honestly. It truly takes it from something pretty car-like to an actual SUV or crossover. It also has some different driving modes. It has dynamic mode, comfort, and then it has like a snow and ice setting. But when you throw this thing into an on-ramp in dynamic mode, specifically in the rain, this thing feels like a little rally car. It's insanely refined. The suspension is pretty good. It's air suspension, which does feel a little bit different if you're really used to the nuances of like a regular spring and shock setup. In the wet, when the tires lose a little grip and when this car starts to slide around, it really plays with you. When you let off the throttle, you have two options to choose whether you want like hard regenerative braking or something that drives more like a regular car when you let off the gas. And I have it in the highest regenerative braking mode just when you let off the gas. And in a high performance driving situation, that really helps like set up the nose of the car, almost trail brake into the corner, and then all you have to do is let on and off the gas to help transfer that power. And in the rain, it's fantastic. I had so much fun in it. In the dry, when you start to go a little bit faster, is when you start to realize that it is still an SUV at heart, or a crossover at heart. When the limits of grip start to get much higher, you feel the body feel a little bit less composed, and that's when you start to feel that it's almost 5,000 pound vehicle. It really masks it well most of the time though. Aside from the driving dynamics of this car, when you're just in it, like going around town, I spent all day in Philadelphia like proper yesterday, and it is an insanely comfortable, quiet, refined ride. There's no rattles in here, and if I was going to hear them, I would, because there's no other sound to hear. The wind noise is very hush, very quiet, especially on the highway. This car has the Meridian sound system that comes in a lot of Jags. It does a good job, especially when you crank it up. When you crank it up, there's no distortion. The bass is very clear, very crisp. One thing that didn't really go too well in the city yesterday though was finding charge points. So I've made it a point to use the navigation in the vehicle to take me to different charge points. And every time except for arguably once, it hasn't taken me really anywhere within sight of the charge points. I don't know if it's just like not Jaguar's navigation in this, but a workaround is with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that this car has. Google Maps finds it great. You have other options with the infotainment, which is good because it's honestly a little bit laggy. It's a great looking screen, an amazing looking futuristic setup. You have a full digital dashboard in front of you that gives you a bunch of different screen options as well. One thing I think is very unique that they did are the seat heater controls and the seat cooling controls, because this has heated and ventilated, or heated and cooled seats. Both are ventilated. It's the way they do the seat controls, the air temperature for the automatic climate control, as well as the actual fan speeds. They are on one knob with a screen in the middle, and you either push it for the seat temperature. In the middle is the regular ambient air temperature, and when you pull it, that gives you the fan speed. I know that design is pretty subjective, but this car has really turned a lot of heads this week. I've actually been really surprised because I think this car has a lot of really good angles personally. I think it's so unique. There's nothing really like it as far as, number one, the looks, but number two, its function, how it drives, everything about it basically. It is a truly unique car. After spending a couple days like looking at it and trying to appreciate the design, me and everybody I've talked to have basically come to the conclusion that this wasn't designed by, you know, a designer as much as it was science. That's not taking anything away from Jaguar's designers, because it's clear they make a beautiful vehicle. But this was just full on, you know, they wanted to make sure it had the least coefficient of drag. For instance, the grille up front, it looks like a regular grille when you stand back, but when you look close, you see that it kind of folds back when it gets to the top. And what that does is create an opening that goes through the grille and then through the vents that are on the front hood. And that then goes up over the windshield, back over the roof of the car, and then I'm sure it does something with the spoiler in the back. They're all just things that have been incorporated because it helps the end goal of the car. As with most EVs and hybrids, I think it's a fine line to walk between the design that science tells you to have in the wind tunnel versus the design that the designers want. So I give Jaguar a ton of credit for making a car that still looks like a Jag, that still can turn heads. It's just truly a unique car, a unique experience, and I've really enjoyed my time with it. If you enjoyed this video, please check us out on outmotorsports.com, where I have some words on this car to go along with this video. We also have some swag there. We have decals and t-shirts. Should you want to support us, it would be very much appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we will see you next time.